Good evening, everyone. Welcome to my third and final debate before we vote tomorrow on November 3rd. Francis, can I have full screen? Can I have my full screen?
Yeah.
Thank you. Hi, Sunette. Did you save food for me? I see you're eating.
Was that one again?
Yes.
How do you full screen?
Just got back from watching the polls.
Oh, great. Thank you. There we go. So again, everyone who's here in person and attending online, thank you for being here for our third and final town hall before votes tomorrow. I just want to thank everyone for doing their civic duty. It is an honor and a privilege to be here in America where we have the freedom to vote. We have a democratic republic where tomorrow you will go and vote for your representative to represent you in your various districts. And I want to thank you for voting. Before we start, I would like, if you're at home, to please stand. Let's say the Pledge of Allegiance and honor our beautiful country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. That's a beautiful saying when we say the Pledge of Allegiance. The part that just makes me warm inside, makes me proud to be an American, is one nation under God, indivisible, which means our nation is one nation and we cannot be divided. We must come together on November 3rd and remember that no matter what our political differences are, no matter what political party we belong to, we are all Americans and we are one nation, undivided. We're one nation, undivided. Remember that. Your neighbors, your family, your friends. We don't say, "Hi, my name is Rhonda and I'm a Republican." That's not how you get to know people. We need to start healing this country, and I hope we can do so after tomorrow, that everybody will come together. With that said, this is the last town hall I will be having as a candidate. I hope to be your representative tomorrow and represent CA 26 so we can start the healing and start the repairs of the damage that has been done to this district throughout the years. We need to have jobs here, and I promise that that is going to be my #1 priority, is bringing jobs to Ventura County so that we have a place that we can raise our children. That when our children graduate from college, they can come back home and have a job that makes a decent wage where they can afford to live here. I'm going to fight to make CA 26 affordable and livable. With that said, I have 12 questions, and like all the other town halls, I have not reviewed any of the questions prior to today, prior to right now. I'll be hearing them for the first time along with the audience and everyone listening at home on Zoom. So this is truly a town hall. I have not been able to prepare any answers to any of these questions. I will be answering the questions here in real time. So with that said, we have our wonderful Jordan Grout who's going to read the questions again. I'm sure you guys are familiar with his voice after reading the other two town halls. So Jordan, let's start with the first question.
What are your thoughts on Proposition 15? If you support it, how will the majority of local government designated funds be used here in CA 26? If you do not support it, what is your alternative suggestion to generating that type of sizable funding towards CA 26 local government needs, including public education resources?
Well, I have not extensively reviewed Prop 15, but what I would say is that any revenue that needs to be generated for education, as your Congresswoman, there's federal dollars and federal funding that's available. Also, we have to look at the current budget and with the schools and cut where we can cut. Not cut the students, but we're administratively top heavy. And I think that we need to start there. But what I will do is, whoever answered that question, I'm going to move that question to the bottom of the list, and I will read the proposition and give you my opinion. Okay, number 2.
What are your plans for opening schools, colleges, and businesses here in CA 26?
Well, the schools and businesses are starting to open now. However, they could close at any time due to if there's COVID spikes. I think rapid testing, having 15-minute rapid testing so that people are cleared for COVID and able to return to schools and able to return to open colleges. And I think we're doing pretty well right here in CA 26 with the COVID numbers, with the social distancing. So I think that the rapid testing and to start opening more businesses, more than just the 25% capacity, I don't think that is warranted right now. I think we should be able to safely and fully open. Other states have, and if you're in a high risk category, then you could take protective measures to protect yourself. If you want to still quarantine or shelter in place at home, those who are vulnerable to COVID-19 can absolutely do that. But I think we need to get our economy back open. We need to get our schools back open, and parents and families are suffering by trying to homeschool students, and it's not mentally healthy for kids to be segregated from each other and not interacting with their classmates. And I think we need to look at the balance and say, is it what we're doing more harmful than COVID-19?
How would you keep in contact with the people in our area once you win? Well,
my door is always open, and as I promised, I will hold regular town hall meetings in the district. I will also hold, Zoom technology is fantastic, and I will give a once a week update via Zoom to anyone who wants to sign in and hear from me, anyone who wants to submit questions. I will continue to do the same format throughout my term in Congress. So I will always be just one phone call away or one Zoom meeting away, but I promise I will have a regular once a week Zoom meeting and give an update to my district, what's going on in Washington, what I'm working on, getting ideas and feedback from the district, because after all, we are a republic, which means I represent every single person in this district, and every single person in this district will have a voice. Thank you.
How do we know if you are honest, trustworthy, and that you will work for the people?
Well, I guess the only way that you can truly know that is to give me a chance and compare me to your previous representative, because quite honestly, you have nothing to lose. And if I don't hold my promise, in 2 years, you can respond by voting against me, because I know I will be challenged. But give me a chance and you will see I will do exactly what I said I'm going to do, and you can hold me to it. I'm not going to hide somewhere. I'm out here right now doing a town hall. I don't have to do a town hall, but I can tell you that I've probably had more town halls and answered more questions for people in CA 26 than your current representative has. What you see right now is absolutely what you're going to get. You're going to get a representative that represents you. And I can promise you, and I can say that I'm this and I'm that, but the only way you're truly gonna know, and the only way you can truly judge a person, is judging them by their actions. And that's what I'm asking for every voter out there, is to give me a chance and then judge me by my actions, because our current representative had that opportunity and she should be judged by her actions. Thank you.
What's your view on the right to bear arms?
The right to bear arms, I'm a constitutionalist, and that is exactly what the Second Amendment says. We have the right to bear arms. McDonald and McDaniel says that we also have an individual, that right is an individual right. And as long as the Second Amendment is in the Constitution, it should be protected and it should be upheld. Our founding fathers set our government up through the Constitution, and it spells out how the Constitution can be amended. And if that's not done, then we need to uphold the Constitution regardless of our personal beliefs. Our founding fathers did not set the Constitution up for individuals' personal beliefs. If that was the case, the personal beliefs of the South in the 60s were for segregation. But the Constitution says no, segregation violates the 14th Amendment. It's the Equal Protections Clause. And that is why the segregation is gone. Integration is here. Brown versus the Board of Education, that's why schools are no longer segregated. Loving v. Virginia, that's why interracial marriages are legal across the country. But there are still people who have those personal beliefs, and they can have their personal beliefs, but the Constitution protects everyone. And so as long as the Constitution, there's a Second Amendment in the Constitution, I'm gonna fight to protect it and to honor it. Thank you.
How would you incentivize SpaceX to come to Ventura County?
Well, currently they're in LA County, and as you know, that's why everybody from LA County moves out to Ventura County. We have a beautiful community. We're safe. We have a lower tax structure than LA County, and we have room to expand. And we can do partnership programs, and there's other federal incentives that I can offer SpaceX to come here by getting them federal money and funding, and also doing partnership programs with different universities and colleges across the country, because SpaceX is a high-paying, high-skilled employer. And we're going to be able to entice a lot of high-skilled other people here to Ventura County, and to also have colleges that offer specific programs that are specific to SpaceX, so that our kids here, when they graduate from college, they can attend these schools that has partnered with SpaceX, so that when they graduate, they can come and they have a job waiting for them. But there's a lot of federal money that can be offered to SpaceX, and also I don't know if you guys have read this and keeping up with what's going on in space, but the federal government just put up for bids on companies, a multi-billion-dollar bid on companies to mine the moon for preparation of a moon base, because the new frontier is space. All you Trekkie fans out there, this is becoming a reality. But the new frontier is space, and every single government around the world is putting their money into space. And we have a leading company here, right here in California, SpaceX, and Ventura County and CA26 should really be taking advantage of that, and I will. I keep up with what's going on in government contracting, what's going on in biddings, and I'm looking to make sure that businesses here in Ventura County also gets a piece of that pie, because there's a lot of government contracts, a lot of federal dollars that just everyday businesses can get into when they do government procurement. So. That's just one of the incentives, but if anyone knows me, it knows when I set my mind to something, I'm going to do it. And I've said it, and I said it, and I've said it. I'm going to bring SpaceX to CA26. That's my promise to CA26. Thank you.
Not a question, but I'm a registered independent and want to let you know that you have my vote. It's time for a change.
Well, thank you. I'm honored to have your vote, and I won't let you down. And my door is always open. And please, I'm going to say this to everyone. You please hold my feet to the fire. I am your representative. I want to hear from you. If you're disappointed in something, let me know. And I will always have an open communication. But yes, it is time for change. It's time to advance. We're in the same old, same old. The divisiveness needs to start. We need to work together, reach across the aisle, and further America. This is our future, our children's future. So thank you for your vote. I am so happy that I was able to earn it. Thank you.
What's your plan on reopening public spaces? I agree it should reopen, but don't want it ripped off like a Band-Aid.
Right, and I think we're currently doing that by slowly opening businesses. And we can start off like they did, opening the restaurants and other facilities by limiting the number of people, and slowly work your way up. And also, again, the rapid COVID testing will be crucial so that people can test themselves at home and know that they're safe. But yes, opening public spaces is very important, and we can do that by limiting the number of people who are in those spaces, like we're doing now with social distancing. But there has to come a time where things have to open. We can't stay closed forever, and we can't just hide out and put our heads in the sand. We have to figure out how to do this, because it's severely affecting our children, and we don't even know the long-term effects that being isolated and being at home is going to have on young children. I have 3 7-year-olds, and I know that it's affecting them, and they have each other to play with, but those children who don't have anyone else to talk to, their play dates, they can't go on their play dates to the park. It's going to be devastating for those children. So we need to safely open the open spaces in the parks and that for them. Thank you.
Do you believe that pineapple should go on pizza?
I believe that whoever likes pineapple on their pizza should be able to have pineapple on their pizza. However, being from Wisconsin, just a hop, skip, and a jump from Chicago, I would say that I don't put pineapple on my pizza. That's probably more of a California thing. But I like sausage, mushrooms, pepperoni, and sometimes onions. But that's my pizza. And I like Chicago-style pizza, not New York. Ick.
What is your stance on climate change?
My stance on climate change, is there climate change? I guess they're not here to clarify. My stance on climate change, in the relationship to the environment and preserving the environment and protecting the environment, that's absolutely what I believe and support. In regards to climate change, there's been climate change throughout history since the beginning of the world. The temperature has changed. It fluctuates. It gets hot. It gets warm. It gets cold. But I'm not a scientist. I don't pretend to be one. If I need to do something, I consult with the experts. It's not based on my own opinion, because I can't have a reasonable opinion if I'm not an expert. But I do believe in protecting the environment. I do believe in clean energy, and I do believe in passing an earth on to our children that is livable and sustainable. And I think we have a responsibility to future generations to preserve that and not destroy it. So with that said, whether there's climate change or not, or scientists have proved climate change or not, the bottom line is that we need to protect the world. We needed to protect our earth. And we can see what happened in the time that it wasn't protected, when there wasn't regulations. And I know some people hate that word, but we do need regulation. How strict of a regulation depends, but I do believe that there should be regulations in protecting the environment. That is one of the reasons why the space frontier is so important, is because we're looking at other planets to colonize, because of not just the growth on the Earth, but also in the event that that something does happen to our planet. So I hope that answered your question in regards to climate change. Thank you.
Will you also support building a children's museum in Ventura County? I hope you can support KidStream in their efforts to raise funds.
Oh my God, absolutely. Actually, I was having this conversation on Saturday with a person that in Ventura that was from Iowa, and we were talking about the Midwest, because we're both from the Midwest, and Chicago. And one of the things that we were talking about was all the museums. Like, the Chicago museums are just phenomenal. And I remember I think it was like 77 or 79. I was a kid. And I remember standing in line in this huge long line at the Chicago Museum with my grandparents and my aunt. And I was like, oh, how long do we have to stand here? Is it over yet? And we were standing in line because this was the first time that King Tut's artifacts, I was about 7 years old, King Tut's artifacts were actually here in the United States. And then they left, and it didn't come back until about 2010. But I, as a kid, remember that vaguely and vividly today of seeing King Tut's headdress. And as an adult, I realize how important that was, and I'm so glad that my grandparents made me stand in line, even though I was a kid and complaining about it the whole time, because I remember seeing it right now today in that glass case, and then later watching it on, like National Geographic and seeing the history of it, and was like, oh my God, I saw King Tut's artifacts. But there are no museums here, and that was one of the conversations that we're having. I would absolutely support bringing a museum here. It's the most educational and entertaining things that we can give to our children. Even just, the Natural History Museum, and looking at the dinosaurs, and imagining, the dinosaurs walking the earth. We go down to LA to those museums, but that's quite a trek. So yeah, I would absolutely support having a museum here, and I would do everything in my power to get some federal funding to open it up, because I have 7-year-old triplets, and I would love for them to have the experience that I had growing up, being able to see the museums and the different cultures from around the world, and looking at the different artifacts from around the world. So yes, I'm excited about that. Thanks for that question.
Can you describe the current California voting process and any problems with it?
Well, I did hear of a problem that I think it's not rare, that I think it's something that's happening. But I had a voter who said that they went to the pollings to vote with their mail-in ballot in hand, and was told that they already voted in person, but they didn't vote. So I don't know what's going on there, but it's something that I'm helping them look into. But it's really scary, because our voting is the only thing that we have. It's our voice. And like I said, we are a democratic republic. So if you don't have an opportunity to vote, or your vote isn't counted, then you didn't have an opportunity to choose your representative. And I think we should have fair elections. I think, as a politician, I work hard to meet with the public, to get the public, and behind me to vote for me. I shouldn't have to worry about when they cast their vote, will it be counted? When they cast their vote, will it be, tossed away? The integrity of this country depends on the integrity of our votes. And no matter what side of the aisle you're on, we all should be protecting that vote, because the ones that have the smallest voice are the ones that get lost, because their votes get drowned out by votes that may not be legitimate votes. So I think one of the things that we should work on both sides of the aisle is to work on election integrity. Like the nonprofit, nonpartisan election integrity project that works to ensure that our elections are fair. And I think everyone should do that. And it's amazing that even Bernie Sanders, when he lost the primary here in California, he actually spoke with the Election Integrity Project, and they were came to the same conclusion that there was some fraud going on with Bernie Sanders' votes, not winning the primary here in California. So it affects both sides of the aisle. So I think it's going to take both sides of the aisle to fix this problem with voter fraud and illegal votes that aren't the people voting in other people's names and stealing ballots. This is something that you hear that happens in third world countries. This is the United States of America. We're Americans, and we should be proud of our elections and to make sure that the integrity of the election is secured. And when I go to Congress, I'm going to work with the other side of the aisle to make sure that our elections are secured and the integrity stands. Thank you.
I'm a senior citizen and have heard many campaign promises that were not even attempted. So my question is, what community service have you done that illustrates to CA26 it's not just your words, but your actions that show us you have a vested interest in our communities?
I've given countless hours of pro bono legal work, people who can't afford legal. I volunteered at, not here, but throughout my life. I volunteered at senior citizens' homes. I respect my elders. I was taught at a very young age to respect my elders, and that's exactly what I do. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. But I believe that being an elected official is public service. It's not a job, it's not a career, it's public service. And making the community better and improving it is something that every politician is supposed to do, not just promises, broken promises. And I say this to the voters out there, we have to look in the mirror and say, it's our fault that politicians who promise something and then break those promises are reelected. It's our job to vote them out. If they break a promise, they need to be voted out. So a lot of things that politicians that make promises and then they don't keep them and they break them, we can look in the mirror and blame ourselves because we constantly, time and time again, vote these people in. We should fire them. If you're a business owner and you have an employee who lies, who cheats, who steals, who's lazy, who doesn't do what they say they're going to do, what do we do with them? We fire them. Well, a politician works for us, the people. And if they're not doing what they're supposed to do and they lie and don't keep promises, we need to fire them. And I can say this, my opponent has not kept her promises. She doesn't even show up. And the people should answer on November 3rd and fire her and hire a new person. Give me a chance. Just give me a chance to prove myself, and I will. Thank you.
What is your opinion regarding sanctuary cities, and what will you do about it?
My opinion regarding, can you read that question again? I don't have that.
What is your opinion regarding sanctuary cities, and what will you do about it?
I think I'm understanding the question. Sanctuary cities, well, I don't believe sanctuary cities are actually legal. I think they're unconstitutional. But what I would do is I will actually do something to solve the problem. There should be no need for sanctuary. If both sides of the aisle work together for a comprehensive immigration reform, there shouldn't be any sanctuary cities. That power belongs, the current laws, and that enforcement of the current laws belongs to the executive branch. However, the legislators, Congress and Senate, the House of Representatives and Senate can change that by legislating and doing comprehensive immigration reform, by working with the executive branch to do that. And that's what I'm going to push, is to fix and solve this problem with overstaying visas and securing the wall, and then dealing with everyone that's left by working together on both sides of the aisle to get something done. Because right now we have a group of people that are terrified because politicians use fear for support. And we have to take that power away and stop terrorizing people and using fear to say that one party is the protector of them. That's not true. if they were really concerned, they would work together with everyone in Congress and in the Senate and with the executive branch to get this fixed.
How are you able to get the gun stores open when our elected officials couldn't or wouldn't?
Well, I'm a constitutionalist, and when no official stepped up, I got a call from the same person who's the plaintiff several times, and so I said, okay, what I could do is I could send a letter, and I sent a letter to county council, and he basically laughed and said that you people and your guns, who needs to buy guns during a pandemic. But so I filed a restraining order in federal court and went back and forth, and the gun stores, the stay-at-home orders kept changing because they were going in line with my lawsuit. Every time we filed a pleading and it had something in it, they would revise the stay-at-home orders to try and moot that issue. Our case is not mooted because I also asked for attorney's fees and damages. So when they opened the gun stores, like other cases across the country, it was mooted. My case was not mooted. It's still moving forward. There's a pending 12B6 motion that's under submission now, waiting for the ruling from the judge, where the county basically filed a motion to dismiss the case, claiming that the issue is mooted. But it's not, because we still have a case in controversy. Case in controversy is damages and attorney's fees. And damages McDaniel says damages are presumed by the violation of the constitutional right, by the violation of the Second Amendment. Right? And same thing with any amendment, any individual right or any enumerated right in the Constitution. So our case will be moving forward. But basically, why I was able to do it and your elected officials were not is because I actually did something. I take my job very seriously. And when I'm in Congress, it won't just be individuals that I'm protecting, it will be my whole entire district. Because what your current representative should have done was she should have picked up the phone, she should have called the county council, she should have called the county supervisors and said, what are you doing? This is unconstitutional. And I know that, federal government and state and local government are separate, but don't think that your Congress representative does not have a say or sway on those other officials when they're doing something that's wrong. And I'm saying, I'm so sorry, the County of Ventura, because right now you're paying the legal fees of the county council defending this lawsuit. And for that, I apologize. I did not want to cost the citizens of Ventura County money, but you can thank your other elected officials for that, because they insisted on keeping the gun stores closed. Thanks.
How will you use opportunity zones to help in the business recovery of CA26? By
actually utilizing them. Right now, they're not being used. I will make sure that the locations are known, that like during my town hall meetings, that I will have a meeting on opportunity zones. I will explain to you how they work. I will explain how you can utilize them. I will educate individuals on the opportunity zones and where they're located, and hopefully businesses will develop them. But it's a great program. And right now we could be developing areas in Ventura County, creating jobs and creating businesses and creating revenue, tax revenue, if we utilize these opportunity zones. So I will do that by educating and holding regular town hall meetings and helping businesses with various programs that they may be eligible for. Not just posting up a website on my website or sending out a letter. I will actually have town hall meetings to explain the opportunities that the federal government has to offer businesses, and also training on how to get those programs. Also, there are numerous federal grants. There's grant money. Your business may fall in one of the categories where you can get federal grant money. This is something that I'm going to actively help businesses get, like the museum, the Kidstream Museum. that I'm sure there's some federal grant money somewhere that may qualify to get this money. Same thing with businesses, and there's different categories for business. If you're a woman-owned business, in specific categories, there's money available. So I will make sure that my district is well educated on the different opportunities that and tools that they can utilize to make their businesses a success, including the opportunity zones that are right here in Ventura County. Thank you.
During the impeachment of President Trump, many Republicans were silent. What stand would you have taken, if any?
I would have voted, and I would have tried to encourage no impeachment. It was a waste of time. The voters are going to answer that question on November 3rd, tomorrow. It cost us millions of dollars. That money could have gone to the people and to other programs and to getting things done. It tied up Congress, and Congress did nothing. They were in a stalemate, back and forth, and it only hurt us. So if I was in Congress, I would have voted no, and I would have tried to persuade the speaker to not use her personal vendetta to waste taxpayers' dollars, and that we have real crisis going on right here in America. We have children dying right here in America. We have people who are living on the streets right here in America, and wasting time and money on an impeachment, knowing that it was not that there was not going to be a conviction in the Senate, was just a waste of time. What she should have done was utilize the Constitution and the voter laws, and ran her DNC and her candidates better, and win in the polls, win on November 3rd. That is how you fight it, not having a sham of an impeachment hearing, knowing full well it was not going to get past the Senate. It was a waste of time. So I think we need to, as citizens, as voters, we need to remember that, and we need to elect representatives who won't play these personal tit-for-tat games, who will actually look and think about the people and actually get something done. And I have to say that my opponent played that game, because she votes 100% of the time with Nancy Pelosi. I would have voted against Nancy Pelosi and I would have voted against Nancy Pelosi and talked to her about getting a stimulus package to my district. Not play those political games, but say, my district CA26 needs relief. Pass the stimulus package, go back for the rest of the money if that's what you feel you have to do. But we can't play chicken with people's lives in my district. That's what I would have. I would absolutely stand up to the speaker. And on November 3rd, if I'm elected, in January, if I'm sworn in, whoever the speaker is, whether it's a Republican or a Democrat, I promise you, I will stand up to them. If it's wrong, if it's not right for this district, I will stand up to them. I won't cower down no matter what side of the aisle they're on.
What is your stance on our trade relationship with China?
Well, I think we're finally getting a fair shake at a fair trade shake. I think manufacturing jobs here in America, we're suffering. I feel that the blatant violation of patents is finally being protected. That the Chinese manufacturers just blatantly violate patent laws and just duplicate and copy, which hurts American businesses and American manufacturing as well. My husband's family started a manufacturing company in Waterloo, Iowa, called Power Engineering and Manufacturing. They started just in 1975, and now they're a $13 million company that makes gearboxes for Navy ships and oil wells and other various things. But they get a lot of fraud where Chinese companies try to copy their patented gearboxes, and it takes legal fees for them to fight and defend those. I was corporate counsel for a while for them. So with that, I think that we're going to see some protections from for those companies here in America. We're going to see more manufacturing coming to here in America. And it's also in regards to the environment. I think companies here who have things manufactured in China should be more environmentally conscious, because we can do and do safe and low emission manufacturing here in the United States, but however, we can't control what goes on in China. So people who want to manufacture those things in China, who pollute the environment and throw the plastics in the ocean, that from China has a huge plastic pollution that comes over to the United States through Hawaii and the rest of and is polluting the oceans, that those companies need to be responsible for those things manufactured there. Which meaning, if there is an added tariff for the pollution that it causes, but I think President Trump is doing a phenomenal job with the trade. I always wonder why is everything manufactured in China? Where's all the stuff manufactured here? It's hard to find things manufactured in the USA. So I think that we're on the right line with China, and I think if the rest of the world and other countries would follow, then we would really be able to not only make an environmental difference, but also build up our manufacturing here. And you start seeing Chevys driven all over the world instead of, Hyundais and Hondas. Well, that's Japanese, but you get my drift. 99% of the parts are made in China.
In my time here as a resident, I have never seen or heard from our current representative. Why will you be different?
Because I like to talk. And I like people. And I love helping people. It's just in my nature. And I will be here. I mean, what else am I going to do? I will be your representative. So you will hear from me. You'll probably get sick of hearing from me and be like, Jesus, Rhonda's doing another Zoom meeting again. But yeah, I'm absolutely going to be different. You could even see it in the campaigning. I'm still looking for my opponent. I'm like, do I have an opponent? The only reason why I know I have an opponent is because I did a debate with her. Other than that, I'm here. I'm holding a town hall. I'm vulnerable. I'm open. I'm answering these questions. I don't know if it's swaying people or dissuading people. It doesn't matter. What matters is I'm here answering these hard questions, and my opponent is not. I have no idea where she is. I've had people independents who've called me and wanted to talk to me about my point of views and that, and I answered them. And then they said, well, I called Julia Brownlee's campaign, but nobody's gotten back to me. Nobody's, I can't get a hold of her. I can't get a hold of anybody. And what I do is when I have a voter that calls that wants to ask specific questions, I always talk to those voters. I don't pass them off to somebody else. I say those are the calls that I want to take myself. So and I call back and I have a conversation, a one-on-one, and I will do that even after I'm elected. If you want to see me, you want to talk to me, you call my office. You will actually see me and talk to me. I won't pass you off to some staffer who takes down your number and never calls you back. If you as a constituent insist or request a meeting with me, you will have a meeting with me. Thank you.
I see your signs all over the district, but haven't seen any of your opponent's signs. Why do you think that is?
Ooh, shocking. Again, because I'm actively campaigning, and I live in the district, and I'm here, and I see those same signs that you see, because I care about CA26. I want to earn votes. I don't feel entitled to votes. I want to earn votes. That's why even everyone that has an R behind their name, I also reached out to them. I don't feel that I'm entitled to a vote just because of that. I want to earn votes, and I don't feel that my opponent wants to earn votes. I feel that she feels that she's entitled to votes, and quite frankly, I think maybe she just wants to retire.
How will you protect the veterans of Ventura County, and what will you do to improve the VA?
Oh, the VA needs a complete overhaul on the federal level. And on a local level, the VA clinic that's here needs a complete overhaul. And I will definitely, every veteran that has a complaint about that clinic, I will go in and make sure that it's rectified. And the wait times to see a doctor is absolutely unacceptable for our veterans. My dad's a 100% disabled Vietnam vet, and I look at the people like they were my dad, my uncle, my sister, my mother. These are veterans. They sacrificed, and their family sacrificed to protect this country. They need to have superb treatment, and they should be treated well and respected. And I will make sure that that happens by even allowing the VA card to be able to go to your own doctor. I think that should be something that should be regular. That if you have a primary care physician that you like, that you should be able to go to that doctor. I feel that you've earned that right when you took the oath to protect this country, that you at least earn the right to go to the doctor that you choose. And I think that's something that needs to be done on the federal level. But on a local level, I will definitely make sure that the current VA clinic and also the expansion of the VA clinic is ran efficiently. The veterans are treated with respect. That's one of the things that I've gotten, is that the veterans aren't treated very well at that particular clinic. So that's what I would do. And also benefits. There are veterans who get denied their benefits, disabled benefits, and you shouldn't have to go through such a long, lengthy appeal process. And sometimes veterans die in the appeal process waiting for their benefits. That's absolutely unacceptable. We need to not just pick and choose which veterans we want to help. We need to help all veterans across the country. And I know veterans will call their congressional representative's office, and then the congressional representative will make a phone call. Well, that's one veteran. We need to solve the root problem so that no veterans have this issue. You shouldn't have to call your congressional representative to get a problem solved.
Naval Base Ventura County is the largest employer in your district. What will you do to ensure the bases and the military men and women get the funding they need to accomplish their missions?
I will make sure they get the funding they need. My husband works at Port Hueneme, and I drive through the bases, and I'm kind of appalled at how they look old and broken down. And I'm thinking, this is CA26. They're represented by a representative who brags all the time about, veterans and how much she helps them. But what she does is she doesn't look and help the military. Veterans are veterans because there is a military. They cannot be ignored. They can't be neglected. We need to look and take care of our active military, and that means our military bases. They need to be upgraded with new equipment. And I will ensure that the bases here in CA26 are some of the best bases in the country, because we should be proud of our Navy bases here and our military bases here. And that's exactly what I would do. But yeah, they need an upgrade. They need funding. And there's a lot of other issues that I've had an opportunity to, for people that work at the base to communicate with me. But believe me, I will be taking care of that when I go to Congress. I'll make sure I get the federal funding to ensure that the bases are good. And if you think about what you have currently with your current representative, if you like the things that she's doing, think about it. You'll get that plus some. You'll get that plus some. It's a Congress Representative 2.0. Thank you.
What is your opinion of defunding the police?
I would never defund the police. That's idiotic. The police are here to protect us. When we have a problem, we call 911. We don't call a community leader. We call the police to protect us. If there's an issue within a police department, if there's issues with individual police officers, they should be weeded out, disciplined, removed, or whatever. You get rid of them. You don't condemn a whole organization based on a few bad apples. I did that personally myself. I had a case where an officer actually falsified a police report and destroyed evidence. And I represented that person, and I made sure it came out, and that officer was actually arrested and is facing 2 felonies. But that officer is very dangerous. That officer risks the lives of other officers, because when you have a bad apple and you see that bad apple getting away with things, it reflects on the entire department, and it makes people leery of the entire department. But here, the system works. And that bad apple is gone, and all the good officers, which are there's thousands and thousands of officers, and I thank them for being there and protecting us and protecting our family. And I will always support the police as a whole. And I will always protect and fight for the bad apples to be removed, but I will protect police as a whole. I think that we all want the same thing. I think police officers want the bad apples gone so that they can be proud again. They can have kids that dress up as police officers for Halloween, that say, I want to be a police officer when I grow up, and not being poisoned. I can just imagine how demoralizing that is for officers, and I will always protect them. And I think we actually need to get funding to have more police and not less police. Thank you.
Speaking of patents, how would you address the patent trolling issue and our overly litigious society, which drives costs up and sometimes causes small businesses to close when they cannot afford to fight frivolous lawsuits?
Yes, that is absolutely the flip side of it, which is something that we can look into as far as legislatively. Maybe doing something similar to the copyright laws. The copyright laws are a little looser than patents, and it does take a specialized attorney to even fight or prosecute patents, or even to apply for a patent. But that's something that definitely has to be looked into. I don't have an answer right off the cuff, but that's something that I will add to my list of things to look into, and to see the effects and how we can balance and fix the system. Where we can fix the system to where patents are protected, but we can also balance it so that small businesses aren't put out of business from defending lawsuits. So that's something I would definitely look into. Thanks.
These town halls are very positive. Thank you. As a Black woman, what would you do to achieve racial equality? As a country, can it be achieved?
Yes, it can be achieved. We need a seat at the table. And with a seat at the table, we can implement change and balance. We need to be equal business owners. We need to be equal homeowners. We need to start developing generational wealth, and we do that by getting a seat at the table and fighting for it, and not letting anyone tell you no. I mean, I am a living example of a woman that was disadvantaged, the daughter of a teen mom raised by my grandparents. But here I am today after going through an abusive marriage and raising my kids and going to law school. Before I was an attorney, I was a building inspector. I just saw the notice for the city and went and applied. They were hiring 3 people, and there were 263 people took the test. I was number 2 on the list. So out of those odds, I got that job, and I was a building inspector for 6 years. But I did it. I fought and I did it. I didn't let anyone tell me that I couldn't do something. And I did have people tell me that I was underestimated because I was a woman, and I was a woman of color. I was a black woman. And I was underestimated, that I couldn't do this, I couldn't do that. But I fought against those odds. And that's what we have to do. And we need to be and have more positive role models. I hope that I can be a role model for little girls out there, little girls of color, to say, look, I'm running for Congress. You can do it too. You can be anything you want to be. You can run for Congress, you can be Senate, you can be an attorney, you can be a judge, you can be a Supreme Court justice. You can be president. You can be anything you want to be. You have the equal rights and the equal abilities to do that, and we need to have more positive role models to tell that to people of color, and getting those seats at the table, utilizing those opportunity zones, utilizing the Platinum Plan, and utilizing the education, and we can do it. And I think that's how we can get equality. We need to get equality by having equal opportunities, and that's what it is. All we need is an opportunity, and we can do it. Thank you.
What advice would you give to me as a woman of color on what it takes to be successful?
Never let anyone tell you no. Never let anyone put you down. Don't listen to them. You can be anything you want to be. And if you need someone, find a mentor that you can lean on, because it's very tough. And I've had mentors throughout my life, and that's what's helped me. You need the kind of pep talk that knows that you have it in you, because people will doubt you and people will put you down and tear you down. I was out a few months ago, and I was sitting next to a girl in a restaurant, and we were talking, and she was saying she wanted to be a lawyer, and the guy that she was with, she was on a date, told her, don't be a lawyer. And then there was another woman that walked up, and she was a lawyer, and she told her, no, you don't want to be a lawyer, it's horrible. And I couldn't believe that these people were discouraging this young woman to not be an attorney. And I told her, yes, you can. Don't listen to them. If that's what you want to be, then you can do it. Even if you're working, you can do it. There's several ways you can do it now. We're in 2019. It was 2019 at the time. But I couldn't believe how these people were tearing her down and discouraging her from being a lawyer. That's her dream. And I always encourage people to follow their dreams. And had I not been sitting there, they would have just torn that poor girl down, and she would have went home thinking, well, I can't be a lawyer. But I brought her up, and I said, yes, you can. And I gave her my number, and every now and then she texts me, and I say, did you apply to law schools yet? So I would say, never let anybody tell you you can't do something. If they say you can't do it, you fight 3 times as hard and get it done, and find yourself a mentor. Thank you. That's it? Well, this was very enjoyable. Thank you all for coming. I think that was all the audience questions as well. Did the audience have questions? Questions, audience? None? Going once? Going twice? Going 3 times? 1 for each triplet. 1 for each. Well, this concludes our 3rd and final town hall. I want to encourage everyone to go out and vote tomorrow. Exercise your right as a United States citizen to go vote. And I'm going to ask you to vote for me. But regardless of who you vote for, you should exercise your right to vote and question any shenanigans that goes on at the polls. Or if you're told that you've already voted, and that make sure you keep your ballot, your mail-in ballot, so that you could have proof. I did not surrender my ballot. I did not vote. But have a good night, and I hope I wake up tomorrow and feel it. Going to be your next Congresswoman. So, thank you. that, I'd say good night. God bless you. God bless America. Thank you.